Welcome. Namaste to all. Thank you for joining on behalf of CoHE. Udit and I are so happy to have you here for this very, very important um, session, seminar, talk, presentation by our very own Udit Shah. Udit Shah is well known to our Hindu community. He's written many, many articles. He's teaches Sanskrit, and he's been on in media, and we are so proud to have him on our board, and his offer to do this very educational session is a matter of great pride for us. So over to you, Udit. Thank you so much for
You
doing this for our community. And the
oh
session is being recorded so that we can put it up on our YouTube channel later for those who couldn't watch. So I don't think we'll do introductions because that'll take too long. There will
true.
be a Q&A later so that, people can ask questions at the end, right? Are you going to speak for an hour with it and then we'll have Q&A?
Yeah, I'll have about 45 minutes
Okay,
and then we can have Q&A. Yeah,
perfect,
yeah, few
perfect.
minutes here and there, but roughly, yeah,
Yeah.
about 45 minutes. Yeah. So,
So,
once again, yeah, thank you, Ragini ji, for hosting me, for inviting me, and to do this presentation. And it's my honor and my pleasure to, do this for my, dear Hindu friends. So, namaste, and thank you everyone for joining me today for review of this explosive book. Trust me, every page of this book is explosive. Many paragraphs are volcanic in nature, and thousands of words are like mines. However, before I begin, let me ask you all, please raise your hands if your answer is yes. Number one question: who has read this book? Any hands raised?
you can just use
Yeah,
the maybe the reactions.
yeah, the
Yeah,
reactions.
use
Yeah,
your
I
thumbs
got.
up if you
Yeah,
read the book. Nobody's read the book.
okay, that's fine. Yeah. Who has heard about this book? Again, thumbs up if you have heard about this book. So the world Bhai has heard about this book. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Perfect. No worries. Yeah. It just published, launched last year. So it's kind of new. And lastly, anyone can guess what exactly does the title of the book mean to convey? Or let me put it the other way. More specifically, is there any hidden clue here in the name of the book? Anyone wants to answer? Unmute and please let me know. Is there any hidden clue in the book, in the name of the book? No worries,
Udit,
no worries. Yes.
Udit, did you want me to put the have you as title, or do you want me to show the slide?
Sorry.
Do you want me to put the book slide as the main page?
No, I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, main page? Okay.
Okay.
Uh, no, it's okay. I think I will do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Okay. So anyway, uh, that's perfect. I know that this is a new book, so a lot of people still have not come across, and that's perfect. Okay, so let me begin. You who is raising your children? It's written by Rajiv Malhotra and Vijaya Viswanathan ji. As you can, I think probably this one is missing here, the name in the image, but it's written by Rajiv Malhotra as well as Vijaya Viswanathan ji, who is also part of the Infinity, and they have written Snakes in the Ganga also together. So this is a joint effort, second time. Now let us I have divided this presentation in four parts. So the part one will deal with core thesis and global drivers. So let us see who are the drivers uh, and why this presentation is being done today. This book urges the reader to look beyond the surface and recognize the true nature of what we are being told. It shows that under the garb of nice sounding ideals, the terminologies like social emotional learning and comprehensive sexuality education, claiming to protect children from risk, the real effect is actually sinister. This book is exposing the dangers hidden in the Western education models that are being imported into India and luring patients and children alike. Of course, the curriculum is also used in USA as well. The book explains all the dangers very systematically, especially the United Nations uh, Sustainable Development Goals 2030 is the framework which is being used by globalists to influence education policies worldwide. But main target is India, and we will see why. It embeds ideological agendas like global citizenship, pleasure-based sex education, sexual rights for children, and social justice, etc. The children are being sexualized at very early ages to create chaos and confusion in their minds. And that they are being denied the practical education in reading and math and science, basically STEM, that would ready them for their careers. This is how they can be controlled, exploited, and destroyed ultimately. Why destroyed? We will see it again. These are not isolated trends, but are being driven top down by global forces. The authors find necessary to expose them. So, who are the top down drivers? It is under the global agenda by the oligarchs. So, global forces use climate change as a euphemism for a depopulation agenda. Now, this is fairly alarming and it's a very serious charge that the authors are making. But there are more than enough ample proofs about that, and they have given solid references. The strategy is to align the woke movement, which disrupts social and political structures that enable wealth. And the ultimate goal is depopulation and social engineering. Again, very, very alarming claim, but there are so many references. The book exposes that is appearing more and more parents are losing their agencies of truly raising their children. And the control is transferring into the hands of the teachers, the schools, the education boards with standardized training and exams. In India, these systems are getting under the control of some powerful globalists. These globalists have a sinister agenda for the entire world. They are taking over the education media, policy making machinery, etc. in the USA as well as in India and other countries. My focus is mainly US and India. Of course, more India, but it's mainly these two countries. This control may not be in harmony with our heritage, our Sanskriti, our value system, our sanskaras. And you will be shocked to know that this is all happening with the most unholy nexus between WHO, UN, and their extended bodies, along with many think tanks, huge business corporates, government bodies, NGOs, academia, etc. So there is a list, big list, and I have probably covered only 15-20%. But I'm just going to read few names. I would actually recommend you to take screenshot if you want, because all these bodies, entities are seriously involved in pushing what we are going to look into, the sinister agenda. So international producers and promoters, some of the big names are Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation, Hewlett Packard, MacArthur, Chan Zuckerberg, Rockefeller, Ford, Open Society by Soros, Novo, Warren Buffett's controlled organization, foundation, Amazon, Merck, Thomas Reuters, Omidyar Network, etc. And there are more names. And then agencies, WHO, UN, UNESCO, UNICEF, UNFPA, UN Women, UNAIDS, UN Trust Fund, UKAID. The list is big, and again, as I said, it's probably covering only 25%. So I am not going to read all the names. I would recommend you to take screenshots. And there are consultant groups like Boston Consulting Groups and a few other. Uh, so Boston Consulting Group is hired by WEF and Niti Aayog. And why Niti Aayog? You will see it. So, who are the domestic facilitators and distributors in India? You cannot really get shocked enough to know that Niti Aayog is the Maha culprit which is facilitating all this nonsense in India. National AIDS Control Organization and various education ministries of state governments. And then there is this Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Peace and Sustainable Development based in Delhi. Taxpayers money funded organization institution and doing a massive job of destroying our children and families' lives. And who are the control corporates and NGOs in India? Again, shocking. As I told you in the beginning, this book is full of explosives. Tata Group, most of the Tata companies, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, Tata Trust, Tata Mumbai Marathon, HCL Foundation, Piramal, Azim Premji, Tech Mahindra, Ambuja Cements, Rohini Nilekani, NASCOM, Keshav Suri, Piramal Foundation, Family Planning Association of India, and there are more. And then there are some more foundations. Nazaria Foundations founded by Azim Premji and Livguard Energy Tech, Naz Foundation, Girls Not Brides, That Mate supported by Niti Aayog, big time. Stand We Speak, another organization supported by Niti Aayog. Population Front of India, which is a Tata NGO. VIP Industries, Kieva Trust, IPE Global, Sneha AI, this is an app, dishing all the uh, material without involvement of parents. We will see what is that. Then there is Educately, a platform hosting Urge for you. Then RKSK, platform delivering CSE. What is CSE? It is, I think we will see it next. Okay. Comprehensive sexuality education, but we will see it. Dasra is an organization, Teacher Foundation, which is NGO of Shraddha Trust, Sangat, Labhya, Tarshi, UNESCO's affiliate creating resources for empowerment in action, Kriya. And there is an NGO funded by IPPF. IPPF is International Planned Parenthood Foundation. So that was part one. Let us see part two. So here, what happens is uh, all these players, globalists, WHO, UN, all the foundations, all the producers of the curriculum, distributors of the curriculum, they use very deceptive vocabulary, uh, popularly called as bait and switch frameworks. So, so that parents and community at large do not get any kind of idea that something is sinister behind all this curtain of uh, social engineering or whatever one may want to call. So it shows they are embracing universal values deployed as a ploy to ensure the buy-in from the parents. It uses wonderful terms which are very catchy and nobody can get any hint of what is going on behind. So they use these terms like global citizenship, social emotional learning, civic engagement, diversity, equity, inclusivity. This DEI is very, very popular, but it is extremely dangerous. Uh, and I'm sure a lot of people know about it. It is nothing but the quota system based on the oppressed oppressor category. Restorative justice, sustainable development goals, anti-racism, anti-casteism, climate change, competency-based education, and even democracy. Now just imagine when you use these terms, will will ever any parent get any kind of idea that something is sinister going to be there behind all these terms? I doubt if anybody will ever kind of imagine anything like that. So as a result of putting up this kind of front, very few parents, very few, hardly anybody will understand the real implications, and they go with the popular opinion without understanding the true implications. So as I read in the first couple of slides, that the whole idea is these eugenicists, they are seeking control of the population. So they have been operating abortion services under the rubric of family planning, sexual and reproductive health. They have become a multi-billion dollar industry backed by some very powerful governments and wealthy philanthropists. There is this lady, Deborah Brisman. She is a very well-known queer pedagogist and a big proponent of this operation. Her social justice frameworks corrupts every subject area for all age groups. So, what these globalists, proponents of all these, policies, they know that education is the best thing to use for shaping the minds, for shaping the characters, for indoctrinating, for preparing the population right from the young age. If they are imparted education of their own ideologies, they can create force who can be controlled by them. So UN affiliated NGOs are increasingly infusing educational curricula with ideological frameworks such as critical race theory, queer theory, and anti-national narratives. As a result, compliance with the sustainable development goals in the view of the critics is contributing to the ideological conditioning of younger generations under the influence of international experts perceived to have an anti-India agenda. And there is a rights trap. So what is the right? International Planned Parenthood Foundation claims children have right to privacy from parents regarding sex. 10-year-old plus, just imagine, they are propagating, they are promoting, they are moving for rights for 10-year plus old child to have privacy from for sex from their parents with regard to sex, with regard to gender change, with regard to abortion, anything that is related to sex. Now, let us look at the explosive slide. So, under the framework of Sustainable Development Goal 2030 under UN Charter, the mandated areas, all children above age 4 are targeted for social emotional learning, which is SEL. CSE is CSE is a comprehensive sexuality education, global citizenship education, which is GCE, and queer theory. The chain of causation, how it started. Under Sustainable Development Goals 2030, United Nations first came out with the idea of climate change. Going forward, climate change got converted into sustainability. Now, sustainability required lot of use of fossil fuels. To promote sustainability, they had to use lot of fossil fuels. So they came out with the idea of sustainable development for the whole world. So they could justify uh, extra use of fossil fuels and resources and all that. So sustainable development was brought on platform, and then slowly, Marxist people joined the bandwagon. And when Marxist people join, they always come out with human rights. So when human rights came into it, Marxism, which was still early 20th century, was only focusing on oppressed category under economic conditions. It slowly past post World War II, Marxism became ultra Marxism and got converted slowly into wokeism. Now, what is wokeism? Probably we'll see down the road, or at the end we will talk about it once we finish this presentation, because that was done by me in earlier book review, Snakes in the Ganga. So we have moved far away from that wokeism now, but we will talk about it at the end, or if anybody has question, we will talk about it. No. Now, what happened was, once this ultra Marxists joined the bandwagon, they hijacked the movement, and slowly they started adding more and more people. So earlier, it was only oppressor categories based on economic conditions. But slowly they added cultural, they added race category, and slowly it covered an entire aspect of human lives. Where now, strictly according to Wokist, there are two categories: one oppressed, one oppressor, but it covers entire aspects, not just economic aspects. So the door was opened for all kinds of groups claiming victimhood, and thus what is known as wokeism became part of sustainable development. So this wokeism brought in LGBTQIA plus. Now plus means any group can be added to LGBTQIA. That is why they have come up with this sign plus, so that more and more category can be added. Blacks have been added, females have been added, Dalits have been added, Muslims have been added, Khalistanis have been added, Kashmir separatists have been added. So all these people, LGBTQAI, IA, blacks, females, Muslims, Dalits, Khalistanis, Kashmir separatists, all these are oppressed people. Oppressed. Can you believe that? And all the other people are oppressors. Let's see part three. A little deep dive will help us know more about it. So, as I said in the beginning, there are four parts. One is social emotional learning. Second is comprehensive sexuality education. Third one is global citizenship education. And fourth one is queer theory. So, first one, under social emotional learning, let us see what does it include. So, a multi-billion dollar industry morphing Indian mind sciences into American mind control. So, they have actually created a curriculum to control children's minds. How? They have, by developing a Marxist consciousness that sees abuse of power in every structure and relationship. Every relationship, every structure, they see abuse of power. That's why they have created these two categories: more oppressed and oppressor. So I will give you an example. So blacks today are considered as oppressed. Have you heard white guilt terminology? I'm sure most of the people have heard. So how this white guilt terminology has happened? So Mokists have come out with this theory that all the blacks are oppressed and all the whites are oppressors. So today's white generation, white people, they have to feel guilt about what their ancestors did, even though they do not agree with their ancestors. Some might be, justifying the racism by their ancestors, but a large population of white young people today, they do not. consider their ancestors, uh, they were doing it right. But under the Woke's theory, all white people are oppressors and all black people are oppressed. So if a white guy working as a janitor in Barack Obama's house, then that white guy is considered as oppressor and Barack Obama is considered as oppressor. As simple as that. So it this kind of curriculum replaces samskara, which we Hindu considered as sacred, with Western brainwashing. So slowly, when you start teaching a child right from the age of 3, 4, because this covers K to 12. So right from kindergarten, this education is imparted and they are brainwashed slowly. By the time they grow up, they are out of high school, most of them are completely brainwashed. So the UN and foreign agencies use education as a Trojan horse to radicalize young girls through comprehensive sexuality education and behavioral change. The International Planned Parenthood Foundation works in over 145 countries worldwide through its member association. The Family Planning Association in India is one such association member of IPPF. And a later chapter in the book will expose the complex dynamics and deception it uses to indoctrinate children in India. So, the impact of social emotional learning in schools and on the children is massive. It continuously collects data and does surveillance of children via technology. We saw it earlier, it transfer the authority from parents to schools and to teachers to teach values and reproductive health. So today they say that parents do not know how to raise children. It is our responsibility. And in USA, there are instances where parents are not allowed to interfere, even if the children are less than 10 years old, 10 less than 10 years old. They are not allowed to interfere or question in the schools. And they are threatened that if you interfere too much, we will take away the children from you. And we will take away the children from you and we will take action against you. This is what is happening in USA. So the children are brainwashed that they must shoulder the responsibility to fight on behalf of the oppressed, including all the categories we discussed: blacks, Muslim, Dalits, LGBTQIA, etc. This indoctrination is being pushed as social emotional learning and global citizenship education by the UN. A child belonging to a family deemed to be in the oppressor category is pressured to join the fight to dismantle his or her heritage and family. Can you believe? They are taught to fight against their parents, their families, their value system, because they are considered as the oppressors. So if a child from upper caste, well, I don't even like to use the upper caste terminology, because we never had any caste system. We had jati system and varna system, which were good for our society, and that was one of the main reasons why Hindus survived from full conversion. 85% of Hindus remained in India without getting converted even after 700, 800 years of foreign ruling. So Jati Varna system was one of the reasons why we survived. Anyway, don't want to get diverted. So uh, anybody from non-Dalit families, or we call upper Varna or whatever, they are encouraged, they are indoctrinated to fight against their parents, their families, their value system, their parampara, because they are considered oppressors. This is the root cause of self-hatred infiltrating college campuses today. We see so many Hindu boys and girls in America and even in India who are hating Hindus. And few moments before I spoke about white guilt. This is emanating from that education only. So that was about social emotional learning. Now let us look at comprehensive sexuality education. So the claim is It is marketed as age appropriate lessons on consent and empowerment. This is again, completely misleading because it is not age appropriate. We will see more, shocking facts as we go down. It promotes pleasure affirming approaches, kinky fetishes, and sexual fluidity. Kinky fetishes, I'm sure. I mean, it's something that very hard to know what it is. If you anybody has question, we can talk about it at the end, or you can even look into ChatGPT or Google. The target is children as young as 3 are viewed as sexual beings with a right to sexual experiences. If this is not going to boil our blood, what will? So Rajiv Malhotra and Vijaya Viswanathan says that it is wrong to teach children to touch their private parts as a lesson of sexuality education and glamorize non-binary identities. This is what is happening. Why LGBTQIA is, why so many people are joining LGBTQIA? Because they are glamorizing these non-binary identities, access to transitioning surgeries. Before Trump took over presidency, gender affirmative care and gender affirmative surgery was a big thing going on in US. Even now it is going on, but Trump is against all these things. So it might have come down, but for several years under Biden and Democratic administration, it was going on big time. Teaching self-indulgence has replaced teaching values like self-discipline. So what is the content of this comprehensive sexuality education? Let us look at that. International technical guidelines on sexuality education under UNESCO as part of UN's Sustainable Development 2030 aims to make children independent of home values. So, children who are not even able to think about themselves, make decisions about themselves, who are being supported by parents for education, prefrontal cortex of anybody develops completely only at the age of 25. But UN wants children below even 10 years to take agency of their life. RTR, reducing the risk in USA. Under their curriculum, new abstinence includes teaching students about using sex toys. Now get ready to get shock. Big shock, utter disbelief. New abstinence includes teaching students about having sex toys, having anal sex with a condom, having oral sex using dental dams, and even having unprotected sex, getting pregnant, and getting an abortion, all of which are promoted in the curriculum. Such things are being taught wherever schools and school districts use RTR curriculum. Even India is adopting this. In one lesson, students are given a handout promoting mutual masturbation, sexual fantasy, oral sex, anal sex with a condom. Another lesson instructs students to call and visit a clinic, such as Planned Parenthood, to ask about sterilization, shop for condoms, ask about abortion pills. One common exercise used in RTR is forcing students to participate in gender neutral role plays of sexual encounters. I read this book two, three, four times, and I just cried inside. What is this all? What is happening to our, children, our families, and in India, Niti Aayog, state government ministries, education, educators, everybody is on board with this nonsensical curriculum. Pornographic curriculum, explicit graphics in books like it is perfectly normal. These books are being used in the classes. The classroom lessons, graphic instruction on masturbation, cling wrap, dental dams, and techniques for sexual pleasure. Sex and in middle school. A report on middle school in US for children aged 11 to 15 includes graphic lessons on anal sex, oral sex, masturbation. Supplemental reading in middle school libraries includes sex, puberty, and all that stuff. A book explaining foreplay and how to rub the clitoris to produce pleasure. They are being, middle school children are being taught all these things under WHO UNO charter. Massachusetts curriculum tells seventh graders how to use cling wrap as a dental dam around their teeth for safe oral sex. Comprehensive sexuality education is bypassing the families. In India, there are apps like Sneha AI under PFI, UNICEF. So UNICEF is blessing. As I said, there are all these WHO, and all extended agencies. They are very massively, actively involved in this, and Niti Aayog has welcomed them. Our state, so many states are involved in this too. So educately, Sneh AI, educately, they engage youth directly, circumventing parent gatekeepers. So parents don't know. And then they use youth peers to discuss sensitive topics that adults might find inappropriate. So children, if they get this kind of communication opportunities with their own peers, they feel more comfortable and they feel, in fact, encouraged. Because, oh, if my friend is doing, I can do it. Why not? So, tips for 10-year-old. Masturbation is not harmful. In fact, it is safe and a good way to learn about one's own body. One can masturbate frequently, except when it gets in the way of other activities or if it disturbs or causes harm. Women are more likely to have an orgasm if they or their partner stimulate the clitoris directly before or after vaginal intercourse. There is no right age to have sex. 10-year-old are taught and repeatedly, not once, repeatedly, day in, day out. There is no right age to have sex. Each person determines when he or she feels ready to have sex. Parents don't come in between this. There is so much stuff on this, but we can't go on and on talking about it. But I think it gave you a good enough, snapshot of what is contained in this book. So we come to global citizenship education. Now, whatever I spoke about social emotional learning and comprehensive sexuality education, they are part of curriculum in India in some states. Jharkhand has done hundreds of thousands of children. Jharkhand has, converted, brainwashed hundreds of thousands of children over a last period of few years with this explicit curriculum. And there are Gujarat, Bihar, UP. We will come to that. So, what is global citizenship education? So, here Niti Aayog adopted the global citizenship competence variety. So, under UN Charter, Sustainable Development Goals 2030, all the countries were asked to sign, but they had the opportunity to, modify as per their own country's requirements. But our Niti Aayog and our government did not bother. They signed on dotted line. So by 2030, India must ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, which includes social justice causes, human rights, and gender equality. Means India has committed itself to training all its young people to be compliant and think of themselves not primarily as citizens of Bharat, but to instead align them with the UN on social, economic, and environmental issues of the world and teach them to use advocacy to solve this problem. Global citizenship education has been added to the curriculum to make the next generation loyal to the global agendas more than being patriotic to their respective countries. This curriculum makes fun of the nationalistic patriotic people. It comes up with the values that it says are in alignment with globalism. And this is a very nice sounding framework. And they continuously use this term. This term opens the door to considering the families as threat because the families protect and preserve the culture. So to get rid of these cultures, such families have to be attacked, which is done through various movements such as trans movements, where you destroy the idea of mother, idea of father, idea of parenting, etc., and bring new kinds of configurations. This has been added to the curriculum to make the next generation loyal to the global agendas more than being patriotic to their own respective countries. Global citizenship education burdens children with responsibility for the world's problems. So, for example, if there are 2, 3, 4 crores, illegal immigrants, the indoctrinated children have to stand by them. If government wants to deport them, these children will come in the way and they will protest against the deportation. And we have already seen this is happening in India, but this is going to be even happening on a larger scale because hundreds of thousands of children are being continuously trained, taught these lessons in school. Right now, it is going on in several states, and more children will join this protest movement. So, part four, let us see the specific impacts on India. So, Niti Aayog and policy integration. So, Niti Aayog aligns India's central government schemes and the National Education Policy NEP 2020 with UN SDGs. We already spoke about it a few times. So, who are the partners with Niti Aayog? There are several, but principal ones are Piramal Foundation and World Bank. They introduced K to 12 social emotional learning program curriculum to thousands of government schools. So, interesting thing in India is under Right to Education Act, the minority schools, which are again in lakhs, they are exempted from this UN SDG. So the Muslims, Christian schools, they don't have to comply with this. All government schools, all government funded private schools, partially funded, fully funded private schools, everybody has to comply. So implementation of SOGI. So the government is taking steps to implement sexual orientation and gender identity and expression with enhanced emphasis on rights. Rights means right of a 10-year child to decide if he wants to change his gender, if he wants to have sex with, another person, 10-year-old child will decide. That is his right. That is his human right. So this will enhance the emphasis on right, agency, gender expression. Our Chief Justice, ex-Chief Justice of India, Chandrachud, he had made an emphatic statement in Supreme Court when there was a case of a hearing going on about uh, uh, transgender marriage case. So he had made a statement that gender is not a biological construct, it is a social construct. So the revisions incorporate some of the following topics: questions pertaining to masturbation, young people experience sexual attraction and form romantic and sexual relationship. Young people may often find their values related to marriage in conflict with the values of the society and the culture they reside in. And same sex relationships are taught in a workbook activity. Indian corporates, like we already spoke about it, HCL, Tata Group, they are all domestic players channeling philanthropy to sexualize Indian children. Do they not realize what is being done by their money? I mean, using their money? I don't know if they don't know this. This vast and powerful network of foreign players, in collaboration with India's government and oligarchs, has launched many woke initiatives in Indian education. State level initiatives also underway with Gujarat, Bihar, and Odisha, implementing comprehensive sexuality education. For example, Gujarat plans to implement very successful Jharkhand's comprehensive sexual model called as UDAN. So in UDAN, they created hundreds of thousands of children uh, who are following their curriculum and who have been hugely indoctrinated. Now here parents lose their rights because even if they want to opt out of this education curriculum, they can't because all these CSE, SEL, GCE, all these are embedded in all the subjects. There is no way you can escape. And day in, day out, they are taught about these subjects. In fact, climate change has been included in all the subjects. 4-year, 5-year old, 8-year old child is taught about climate change every single day and several times in a day. So they become anxious, so much anxious because they don't understand what is climate change. But they are taught this, they are fed this nonsense. And that creates anxiety. So, teacher will say that because of climate change, you cannot afford to buy a EV vehicle. So they wonder why we can't buy and then another day they will say you can't buy ICE vehicle. They talk so much about climate change that this children get into anxiety. So UNICEF endorses several sex vloggers like Lassie Green, who hosts a vulgar blog called A Naked Notion who has 1.5 million subscribers, and UNICEF supports her. So global citizenship versus, as I said, that tomorrow these children who have been led on the path to choose global citizenship rather than your own country's citizenship. So if I live in USA, I am citizen of USA first. So I must never act against interest of US citizen. I mean US, my United States, which is my country of citizenship. Or if I am Indian citizen, I have to make sure that I never act against the interest of my country, which is India. So whichever country you belong to, you should first work or you should never work against interest of your home country. But this is what they are teaching, that you take care of all the problems of the entire world. So if there are illegal immigrants in US or in India or any country, you have to support, you have to stand by them. Implementation in Indian states. So I said Gujarat, Bihar, Odisha, they are already implementing comprehensive sexuality education. And I don't know if Gujarat minister, chief minister, education minister, they know about this or not, or they are just blindly following what Niti Aayog is facilitating. Niti Aayog bureaucrats, they know everything. Ministers may not know, but bureaucrats know everything. Why they do? I don't know. There are other states like Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Manipur, they are also going to be impacted or on the way to be impacted. This is another shocking thing that under Ayushman Bharat Yojana for gender affirmative care, government is giving 5 lakhs rupees per beneficiary. What are the dangerous portents from legal and social viewpoint? So policies advocate decreasing the age of consent while increasing the age of marriage. Now, do you understand this implication? These people want the age of consent reduced. Age of consent, obviously, age of consent for sex. They want it reduced. But they want to increase the age of marriage. So they want the age of consent 16, they want the age of marriage 21. So 5 years period, they are actively promoting premeditated sex. They're actively promoting premarital sex. So, can you not imagine the sinister agenda behind this nonsensical uh, uh, approach? Now, as I said, you cannot opt out of any of this curriculum because it is embedded in whole curriculum. All the subjects have these portions. So parents are helpless, completely helpless. Now, America has already experienced the disaster last several years. This affirmative care, gender affirmative surgery, wokeism, LGBTQI, so many people, young, I think almost 20 to 30% young population, they identify themselves as trans. Soft parenting and heavy-handed climate messaging are failing in the USA. Social justice topics permeate all subjects, while basic literacy and math scores plummet. In last 10 years or so, in US, in India, everywhere, the grading has gone down in STEM kind of subjects. There are many reports about that. So this book, I said we'll discuss in four parts. Now this five, the part five is about solution that Rajiv Malhotra and Vijaya Viswanathan has actually offered. And that is Vedic alternative about replacing this curriculum. So Vedic from framework has it provides liberation from the ego and program behaviors. So it gives a lot of opportunities to choose your own way. There is no, doctrine which you have to follow. Just like, Bhagavad Gita, after 676 shloka, Bhagwan Krishna tells Arjuna that you decide. I told you, I gave you all the knowledge, I gave you all the information, most, detailed information I gave you. Now it is your decision whether you want to fight or not. Our Shastras never, never, never command. Our Shastras recommend. You do this, you do this. You have this choice, you have to do this. We are given Vivek Buddhi and we are advised, we are encouraged to use our Vivek Buddhi to whatever path we want to choose, we can choose. So the Vedic framework will accommodate immense diversity without imposing a single dogma. And it uses traditional rites of passage to build character and social harmony. So in Vedic uh, text, the teaching is based on Indriya Nigraha, control of our senses. That is the key thing. That is why we have four varnas, right? Brahmacharya, first ashram, 25 years is Brahmacharya, then Grihastha ashram, then Vanaprastha ashram, and Sannyasa ashram. So, first 25 years, Brahmacharya means you focus only on education. If your mind is diverted, your concentration definitely will be impacted and you won't be able to study the way you should be studying. So that's why it says 25 years you concentrate on studying, and then 25 years you enjoy the married life. Then you retire, start, vana prasthashram means you start looking towards getting retired, and then last sannyasashram means you retire completely. So brahmacharya period, it teaches that delayed gratification is uh, should be the aim, not when you are studying. Yeah. So it also, teaches about environmentalism and social justice with a Vedic, view. So world is a unified spiritual entity. It is not a resource for ego to control or to enjoy the, fruits of whatever nature has provided. It's not one lifetime that you use and finish everything. So Vedic social structure aligns individual desires with cosmic processes. So, what authors propose that government should rewrite national new education policy where education premise should be on Vedic social sciences. Global agencies like WHO, and all these, everybody who is coming from non-Hindu background, they should be completely, outlawed. They should not be allowed to dabble into education. That is what their proposal is. And priority should be children first be made solid citizens of the country where they live. So if you're talking about India, then they should first be patriotic, nationalistic Indian before becoming global ambassadors. So what happens if we fail in arresting this trend that is so much uh, gone ahead? 2030 is just 4 years away. Our failure may lead children to choosing, you know, another gender, affirmative care, hating their parampara, sanskriti, sanatan dharma, living families that are labeled as oppressors. Everything. I mean, there are instances. These things have happened. Um, we just have to keep our eyes and ears open, and we have to take care. See, first battle, uh, half the battle is won if we become aware of all these things. Then calmly you can decide what you can do. So it is time to raise our voice against the woke education system that destroys families. Thank you for listening to me. Uh,
Thank you, Udit. That was truly mind-boggling. It really is very disturbing. So let's open up the questions. If people can raise their hands, the questions, please keep it brief so that as many people can have a chance. We have half an hour for Q&A. So just raise your hand. Kavita has raised